Yo, what's going on, people? This is Mr. T,
A fly dance.
and this is Allegiance to the
Allegiance to the
Game.
game.
Salute you.
Hey. Yeah, salute, brother. How you doing?
How you been? Yeah, man, not too bad. Just waiting for this game, but I just over an hour to go. How you
Yeah,
been?
yeah, man. Cool, man. Just ready. I'm ready for this game, man. Ready to just whoop them boys, you know?
Yeah, standard. So
Yeah,
yeah, so today's game is obviously Man United versus Arsenal.
I
It's
know.
away for us at the Old
Mm.
Trafford. Yeah, it's at 4:30. What are you saying? What do you think about the? Where do you think this is gonna go? What do you think about teams actually? What do you think about the
Um,
team?
yeah, I think that we're a lot stronger. I think we're a lot stronger than them. Obviously, we've been in great form. I don't expect that to drop against United. I know that they've picked up points recently in the last 3 games. But a lot of the games have been narrow wins. I feel like even though our games have been narrow as well, we've put in better performances. Um, we've got a number of players that I think are, have been on form. Obviously, Jesus starting that with him. Martinelli's been really good, impressive. I've been very impressed with Erdegaard, but we'll touch on that in a bit because obviously there might be some issues whether he may be starting today. So I know we will touch on that. I'm very happy with our defence as well. I think Saliba's been top notch. Also, Gabriel, Ben White's done really well as well as a sort of as a right back and full and as a wing back. So I think we've been doing really well, man. I'm very
What about
impressed.
United?
I'm very impressed with our team.
What
Now,
about
as for
United?
United, the reason why I
United.
haven't really said much about United because I can't pick out anyone who's really been that I've seen that have really looked good or really been on form. I think that they've been sort of scraping their wins. Other than I say Bruno Fernandes, I think when he plays, I think United play, they show up. He's a very determined guy, so I think keeping him quiet and being on him would be would be a positive thing for us. I think Jadon Sancho, I think he's been pretty decent as well. He's starting to kind of show what he's about.
last couple of games, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. So he's really started to show why, why we were so impressed with him and how he used to perform in Germany in the Bundesliga for Dortmund. I think he started to kind of show signs of why United were interested in him in the first place. But other than that, I can't really pick out any sort of members that I think, any players that I think, we've got to really be concerned with.
What do you think about the new players? Because who's they added? So they've added, obviously, they've
Casemiro.
got Casemiro, Martinez. What's the other guys called?
And Anthony.
Ericsson, and Anthony. But I don't think we're expecting Anthony to play. So, what do you think about their signings then? So obviously, they've got them four in. What do you think about them?
Yeah. So as for Ericsson, I mean, I've always rated Ericsson. Kind of glad he ain't playing for our for them totty boys anymore. But I've always thought he was a class player even from back then. So I think he's been doing really well. I think in his last game that they played, I think that Ericsson kind of, in the first half, I think he was kind of like their playmaker. So a lot of things came through him. So I think he's someone to be concerned with. But I just feel like in midfield, as long as we can kind of keep that pressure and push them higher up, keep that pressure on them, and as long as we start quick, I think that Ericsson won't be able to keep up with the pace. I think that it'll go past him. I don't think he's the same player he was a few years back. But I think he's doing pretty well. As for Casemiro, I haven't seen much of him, but from what we know, man, Casemiro is a beast, man. So, we're gonna have to keep an eye out for him. But really, he's going to be looking to break up our attack. So that's why, I'm hoping that Erdegaard will start today because they kind of would have that, they have that knowledge of each other. I mean, they played together at Real Madrid. He'll be very fully aware of Erdegaard. So I'm hoping that Erdegaard can maybe get the better of him in this one here. We need creativity in our midfield as well. So, and we need Erdegaard there to support our forward. So
what about Martinez?
I'm hoping him. Martinez, to be honest, I haven't really seen much of him. I mean, I've seen him play for them. But I mean, he's never stood out to me, to be honest. And to be honest, I'm actually happy that we didn't sign him in the first place. From what I saw, the performances he gave for United, I don't mind that we lost out on signing him. Put it that way. You know, I haven't seen anything yet. Nothing hasn't really jumped out at me yet. And Anthony, we may see him today. He may give us he may feature today. But he's meant to be a very skillful kind of Brazilian. He's got that flair, banging a whole heap of goals out there in the Dutch league. So yeah, he's going to be a tricky player. But I mean, this is the Premier League, and you know it's going to be a big ask for him to come in and just perform, if that makes sense. So I'm sure they might throw him in at some point during the game in the second half. But yeah, I mean, as for maybe Bruno Fernandes, I think Eriksen's a really good player. I think Jadon Sancho has kind of showed his worth a little bit, but I still think that we can keep them man there under wraps. I can't really see where they will be troubling Saliba and the big man himself, Gabriel. I can't really see where they, you know, as long as we stay focused at the back, we don't take nothing for granted. Make sure we stay focused. Don't get complacent. Even if we go ahead, don't get excited. Get the job done. Make sure. I can't really see them getting really a real sniff or any real open chances for them to really to be a huge threat. So I think this is us.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So their team news, I think they said Martial, I think he's still injured. Yep. So I don't know, that might be a possibility that Anthony could. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because he said get a little.
I'd be more scared. To be honest, I'd be more scared of Martial than any of them forwards. To be honest, because Martial's he's a tricky one still.
Yeah.
Come on and show up. You know what I mean?
So they've got obviously Casemiro as well. So I guess he's probably trying to push for a start. So don't know if we'll see that. I mean, they've got their keeper, obviously the new keeper, the Prepka. Obviously, he ain't gonna be starting. And then I think there's their kind of touch and go with Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw. So that's really pretty much, I think, in regards to their news. So yeah, it's going to be probably a predictable start. Well, not really predictable if they start Casemiro or not. If Anthony does get started, I doubt he will start. To be fair, but he probably get some minutes. Martinez is looking to start, and I'm sure what's his name? The ex-Brentford Spurs. He's got to probably looking to start as well. So yeah. Me personally, with Man United, I think they're a poor footballing team. Like I've been saying to you, I kind of feel like I don't know why people are worried about us playing them. I just think normally when it's going to be us if we don't perform. That's don't how they'll get a result is if we don't perform or we're wasteful to keep them in the game.
It's for us to lose. I think it's for us to lose.
And I think if we keep it tight as well, it's going to be a thing because they got obviously for one they got players that they got players that can turn up. Do you know what I mean, individually they got players that's got some techers. I'm going to expect that Ten Hag, he's going to probably do the safe option, and he's going to stick with the same team because they've obviously won the last 3 games. Was it 1-0? So yeah, if he was to change it a little bit and then they don't win, they lose, then it's going to be on his back. So I think he's just going to keep the same. But if we keep it tight, they've got players that can get the odd goal or 2, and also as well they got new signings. So if them new signings come in, like Anthony come on, or them players come in, they probably G them up a bit. Do you know what I mean? And that get a little bit added. So we need to just, as I said, in regards to them, just get the job done. Kind of
that's
early.
right. Yeah.
And then the football inside.
I'm hoping before that basically they're sort of out of the game completely. By the time they put on Anthony and so forth, I want them chasing the game. That we are ahead, they're chasing it, and we're fully in control of the game. That's what I expect, and that's what I want.
Yeah. So I'm not really afraid of Man United. To be fair, they're playing for football inside. It's gonna take time for Ten Hag to really get his fingers and into the way that they play, and they start changing it. And yeah, there's a poor football inside of them. They've been in. It's not even like a short period of time. It's not just been this season. It's been the majority of last season. They've been a
Yeah,
poor
yeah, they've been
side,
poor.
and then this season it's been the same. The only thing that was kind of been different the last 3 games since they beat Liverpool was they've just showed a bit more intensity and a bit more effort. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which then
but
obviously
yeah,
when you do that, obviously that's going to make you play that a little bit much more better. But footballing wise, I don't think and we're already playing like that. We're already playing with drive and intensity
absolutely. Yeah.
and team play and work ethic, and also we're a better footballing side at the moment, and we're
Yeah,
playing them at a time. We've got new players, but they're not implemented yet. So yeah, I don't really get. Obviously, they've got the thing about yes, Man United. So hopefully they shake all that stuff about it's Man United or it's Old Trafford. I mean, no Trafford is not no fortress right now for them. So no, that's nothing to worry about. And Man
mm,
United is Man United. So they're still play the team rather than play the name. Do you know what I'm saying? So.
that's correct. Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to play the team instead of the name. 100%.
Oh, let's go into our team. So let's go into our team. So let's just to the news about our team that I've got. Basically, it's just as you already said, Martin on the guard and Aaron Ramsey are basically having a too late fitness test to see if they can
Hmm.
make it. I think he'll push because obviously, definitely because we got the injuries already in midfield. I think, if they're able to play, they'll play, and I'm quite confident they probably are going to play. The one that's quite certain not to play is Shevchenko, because he's got his
Yeah,
knee problem, and then we already know about Partey and Elneny already gone
yeah,
over for
they're out. Yeah,
yeah, Elneny's months away apparently, and
yeah,
Partey is a few weeks. So
yeah.
yeah, so we know that, we know that. So what do you think about our team in that regards? Then taking into consideration the injuries in midfield, and then obviously putting in regards to not even signing anybody in the
Yeah.
thing in regards to this game.
Well,
So
well, you know how I feel about it. I mean, I don't know if you noticed today, but I mean, Tielemans gave a wonderful ball over to Daka. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, who scored a wonderful goal. So I feel like we may be missing that bit of creativity. Now we do need another midfielder. We should have been a bit more active in the on the transfer deadline day. We wasn't.
In the market, I mean, because we needed that at the start of the window. So it didn't
Yeah,
need to
we
come.
did.
It's a bit weird we didn't come down to, and
Yeah,
he said it himself as well. Arteta said it. So it's weird that it's come down to the end of the window and
yeah,
having to then really just try and get a no
absolutely.
news or whatever. So
And how I feel about this game is I still think, we're still a better team. But my main concern is, are we going to bust that midfield? Are we going
mm,
to control that midfield? Because we're going up against a very experienced Man United midfield. If Casemiro starts, which I expect him to start today,
mm,
Ericsson's going to be there as well. They're probably throwing a McTominay in there or Fred, depending on whoever they want to go with. Bruno Fernandes is also going to be on the pitch. That's a very experienced midfield.
I think they'll do
And
a single pivot. To be fair,
what's that, sorry?
I think they'll probably do a single pivot. So they're probably going to play. I don't see them dropping Ericsson and
And Bruno
Fernandes.
Fernandes.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
if they play Casemiro, it's going to be either probably him or it depends, I guess, how he wants to
Either
go. It's going to
him
be him.
or Fred or
Yeah,
McTominay, which will probably
yeah, it's
be
going to be one or the other. I
Casemiro.
think.
It
Yeah,
depends. But then it depends how Ten Hag is going to play it. Because what he might want to do is actually keep Casemiro for reinforcements and then maybe start someone like maybe McTominay, like what they've been doing
yeah. I think it'll
recently.
be one of them. I
And
think it'll be
then,
one of them.
yeah, and then bring Casemiro in the second half to kind of maybe keep it tight. And that probably depends on how well they're doing against us. If they manage to keep it to into a 0-0 or maybe a very tight game where it's
Mm.
there for the win, they may bring on Casemiro in the second half to keep it tight to give them protection. So who knows how he's going to play it? But I just feel like they've got an experienced midfield, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. I know that we're going to be playing Xhaka, and I expect obviously it's going to be Sammy Lokonga in there. Lokonga away from home at Old Trafford. Not sure. Gonna cough. Excuse me. Sort of talking,
Yeah, bless man.
but I'm not sure. And I think if anything does happen, I think it will be because of that, because we had a tight midfield. I mean, kind of like a weakened midfield, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I kind of think so. I think the only thing that's going to be Arsenal today is unless Man United just play the best that they played and they just pull out some top performance, which I'm not expecting. They ain't done it for long. Yeah, man. As I was saying, G. I think if Arsenal lose this game, it's going to be Man United doing some just playing some out of this thing game randomly because they ain't playing that well, or generally it's going to be Arsenal if they perform or not. But obviously because of the midfield, that gives them a little thing, as you said, they've got experience in there. Do you know what I mean? And that's why we have to keep on the front foot. We can't
Absolutely.
let them. You can't get them like. Do you know what I mean? Like even Ericsson, even one of them start getting to pull some strings because. Yeah, I mean, they will start growing in confidence from there and they'll pick. They've got the ability to pick out things. So we need to be on them and try and get some early pressure and be clinical with it. I think they're timid.
Absolutely.
And this even though we're obviously a timid side, but we've got a stronger bit of confidence. It just takes anything for I think Man United to start going all over the place. Do you know what I mean? So if we can,
Yeah.
keep that pressure on how we've been playing, but we have to be clinical,
And
man.
be
Someone said,
clinical. Exactly.
yeah,
We need to be
they think,
clinical in this game.
yeah. I
That's what it's
don't
going to be
want.
about.
Yeah, and the thing is, well, we don't have obviously we've only got Nketiah really to say that's going to come off the bench. So yeah, but I think that's the only how that they're gonna think is either if we perform or we don't perform. And that's it. And
Yeah.
we've been performing, but we've just got to be clinical.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
It's gonna be a tight game, bro.
see.
It's gonna be a tight game because I know we're the better team, but like you're saying, we have to be clinical, and if we're not, that's just gonna put a lot more pressure on us. And
Yeah,
I
and
do
that
think they're
midfield
gonna
is
have a
same.
stronger midfield. Ericsson, and he can pick out passes. He's gonna be able to. And Bruno Fernandes, um, he's a jammy player, man. Bruno
Mm,
Fernandes is jammy. And
yeah,
I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm saying it like he's a good player, but he's a sort of guy that he will make mistakes. Not everything he does will work. But the one thing with that player is he has a lot of drive and he will continue to do the same thing. He will continue and continue until he gets it right. And that's the problem. You have to make sure that um, we keep a close eye on him.
yeah,
It could be a free kick, it could be a set piece. Sometimes Bruno Fernandes, he just shows up, bro.
yeah. And that's the
And
thing. That's why
I mean,
we need to keep it quite get there early because if he was to go like bam 2-0 down, that's it. They're gonna want to kind of play no more. Do you know what I mean? So we need to keep.
exactly,
Yeah, we can't keep the game tight, especially if we're on top of the game. Yeah,
exactly.
we can't keep it
Yeah,
tight, man.
we need to
Who do
be
you think will
clinical.
Yeah, it's quite self-explanatory, but who do you think who do you think will play for us?
Yeah, um, I'm hoping obviously we start with Ramsdale.
Mm,
Um, I think it'll be Ben White. Um, centre backs would be Gabriel and Saliba. On the left,
mm,
we'll start with Tierney.
yeah, I think I was thinking maybe I ideally would have probably wanted to get Tommy back in, but obviously he's
What's that,
probably going to
sorry?
go with the same. Get Tommy back in
I,
this one,
I
but
think,
only if he's fully matched. Only if he's fully match fit.
yeah, I think Arteta don't want to rush him back in, and because it's such a big game. Well, it's playing against United is always a big game. I think because we're playing at Old Trafford as well, I think he probably won't want to bring him in. But Tommy, for me, is a player at the moment, just use him for insurance. What you do is you bring him in the second half just to tighten it up. What I want to do is use the players that we've got, get a hold of the game, um, get a foothold in the game, so we be in pole position in this game, and then after that we can bring in Tommy to kind of sort of tighten up and so forth. So so I think he'll start with Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Tierney at the back. Midfield will be Xhaka and Sambi.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also Erdegaard, hopefully, depending on his fitness,
Mm.
I think he will. I think
Yeah,
he.
because he trained yesterday. Him
Yeah,
and Rama trained yesterday. I think only Zinchenko didn't actually play yesterday.
yeah.
So
Okay, that's
yeah, so
brilliant. So I think he will still go with Erdegaard in there to support the striker. I think he'll go with Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and the big man himself, Jesus up front. So yeah, and that looks like that's a strong team to me.
Yeah,
That's a
well,
strong
yeah,
team.
can't really complain really about that. What you chose, it's probably it's kind of self-explanatory. The only one I thought maybe would he bring Tommy back in or leave Ben White, but generally I probably would go safe and keep saying midfield is kind of
Yeah,
self-explanatory. There's no one else. I mean, down to the bones in that sense.
yeah. I think
I
I'll
guess the only
keep
thing,
Ben White in though. I will keep Ben White over Tommy. I mean,
yeah,
you can always bring Tommy in the Europa this week coming. I sort of just keep Ben White. We've had a good flow at the moment, so there's no need to really break it.
but he's like if he's match fit anyway. If he's match fit, then I would always say he's a proper he's the right back in it. To, say
Absolutely.
right back for White is secondary. You know what I mean? So anyway, how do you think the game will go?
Right. That's a good question. I can say how I think the game will go and what could happen. So I think what could happen is I definitely think we're going to have control of the game, but we need to be clinical. I think if we're not clinical, I think United will get a couple of opportunities, and I just have a feeling that one of them might slot it home. I do. Playing at home, they're going to be amped up for this game. So yeah, but based on how we've been performing recently, I expect us to get the win. I think it'll be a tight game. I'm calling a 2-1 win to us. Yeah, I'm calling a 2-1 win. And that is, I think we'll score in the first half. I think Man United will equalise. I think they may score. I have a feeling that they will score.
Because remember I guess they got Ronaldo to come on and or possibly Anthony.
That's right. But I think we may nick it in the second half. Now, as for Ronaldo, I'm not really concerned with Ronaldo at the moment.
Nah, but
Ronaldo,
I think him coming on,
not...
I think him coming on in a tight game, yeah, and even just his presence around other people. Do you know what I mean? I know how sometimes Arsenal players can get a bit erratic. I think it'll be he's gonna be energetic, and it could be a problem if it's a tight game. This is why I want them to be clinical, close the game off early. But he's always a problem. He's hungry in there. That's the thing. Like I'm going to Haaland. It's not the same thing, but he don't get too much involved in the game. But he's there all the time, innit? He's there all the time. Like Haaland, right place in his movement in the box. I mean, like the other game, he'd only touched the ball like 5 to 10 times in the whole match, and then he got a goal or whatever. And
Haaland's a different level at the moment.
Yeah, I know, but having someone that's so busy in the box, like thing is always going to be an issue. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. I see when I look at Ronaldo now, he seems mortal to me. Before it was like, Ronaldo, but now at the moment, for when I saw his last game, it was like not everything. He was hungry, but everything he was doing wasn't coming off.
Yeah, but the thing as well, like before he's coming on here, but because like the team's been doing all right with him off, so that might humble him a bit. Do you know what I mean? And when he comes on, he might be a bit more like, all right, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing.
Apparently last game he come on and he was on it, and then
he was on it, but nothing was working for him.
Oh, is it?
Nothing was working for him. And that's the thing. I mean, he pulled off one shot. He got himself in a great position, made that run, the sort of Ronaldo run that he does, got on the ball. And when he took the shot, it was literally like a shot / cross. I mean, he didn't even hit it on target. And I said to myself, that's not Ronaldo. But I think what it is, the position that Ronaldo's in, I feel like Ronaldo's never been in that position before. Ronaldo's always gone to big clubs. And wherever he's there, he is the key man. He is the man. He's never been put on the bench like that. He's never been sat on the bench and have to be behind sort of second-rated players. Because let's be honest, he's sitting behind Rashford and Jadon Sancho. Come on. So he's never been in that position. And I feel like being in that humble position is actually humbling him. And I don't think he's quite the player. I don't think Ronaldo's not meant to be humble. Ronaldo's meant to go out there and act like he's God's gift. And I think by him being that way, that's why he's so good.
Yeah, but he's going to leave. I think he's going to leave. But the thing about him, he always wants to play well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And play for a team that's also playing well and playing good football. And we can see that United are not playing good football, and it's going to be a struggle for him. So I think that if we get a foothold in this game and take control of the game, I don't think he's going to have much to offer, because they're not going to be able to give him the type of service and stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. If it's a tight game, that's the only reason I think, okay, there'll be an issue. If it's a tight game.
Absolutely.
Like, by 1 goal or 0-0, or by same drawing, or by 1 goal.
Yeah.
Because then seeing them come on like him, and say like Anthony, for example, going to want to come, and he's Ronaldo always going to want to prove himself and show he's this, he's that, and then obviously Anthony decided. So that's why I don't want it to be a tight game.
Yeah, for real.
So you said, what did you go for? You went for 2-1.
I'm going for 2-1.
I don't see Man United winning. No, I just don't. I think they can mess the Arsenal up by getting a draw, only if they keep it tight.
Mm.
But I think that there's gonna be a period of the game where we should have scored at least three. Do you know what I mean? And then if you haven't taken it, and then if you haven't taken them chances, then yeah.
Well, bear in mind, we are playing at Old Trafford. I know, we still have to give that. I know, we're not at home, so it's going to be a bit of a tricky one. Remember, the fans, everyone's going to be amped up for this game, bro.
I'll say three. I'll say 3-1 if it goes how it's gonna
Us,
go.
yeah,
3-1. Yeah, but then if not, but then if it's tight, yeah, then I can see probably a good draw. If
yeah,
it's tight.
yeah,
Yeah, so if it becomes second and it's a tight game towards coming to the second half, then
yeah,
yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it probably being a draw.
yeah. That's a possibility. Come on,
Yeah,
Gunners, man, we've got to get it in, man. That's a possibility. But
yeah,
this is now we're gonna get to see Jesus. He's playing against United, obviously. He understands the rivalry with Man City. He played in a lot of derbies, so I'm hoping that he just kind of brings it
but
to
this is the
them.
thing. This is why like see like the games where we've got Saliba, Zevchenko and Gabriel. These are the games, innit? Like these are the games
Yeah.
where we need them playing because they're not really they're playing big competitions. They especially Zinchenko and thinking they know what it's like to win. Do you know what I mean? And who's like they're like Man United who? Do you know what I mean? And that's
Mm,
nothing. Old Trafford who? They've been in the
mm,
team that's like we need to be beating you whoever your name is, and if you're at home or not at home, we're slapping you. So they have that.
absolutely.
They ain't gonna go in there with no shyness or no whatever. So the more
Absolutely.
players we have like that is the better. So this is why it's a bit annoying that we haven't got Zinchenko, who's most likely not be playing. We've got Gabriel who is, and obviously and Saliba. Yeah, he's comfortable in that sense.
Oh
But
yeah,
all the
Saliba's
rest of
definitely gonna. You
but
can
all
already
the
see
rest.
our defense is gonna look forward to coming up against Sancho and Rashford and that. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Saliba, and I expect Saliba, I expect our defenders to win those battles.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to see Martinelli as well. Like I'm looking to see him because
Yeah,
he normally raises, even though he's been playing well, he generally raises his game when he plays like the top teams. Like
yeah.
his best probably game last season was I think one of the games against Man City where
Hmm.
he was just destroying
Yeah, yeah.
Cancelo, and then the other game was against Liverpool where he was destroying Trent. Um, so yeah, the team's news is just out, So let me see. Let me
Okay.
tell you the Man United to see the Man United team.
Yeah. Let's
Man
go.
United team is the Gear, Martinez, Fernandez, sorry, Rashford. Oh, yeah, that new guy, Malacia.
Yeah,
Um,
Malacia. Yeah.
yeah, Malaysia. Ericsson, Varane, and Delot. Oh, so there's difference there. We thought we played the same team, but they've got Anthony, Sancho, and McTominay.
Okay, so he's putting Anthony. Yeah.
Yeah, so who did they
Well,
put?
the thing is, he knows him, innit? He knows him from his time at Ajax, so I'm sure he knows that he's still fit. And
Actually, but the thing is, though, I prefer him to start, because then we'll get the feel of him. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been worse if he come on because then he's like you got to try and adjust to this new player that's come on. Don't we know
mm,
what it's about? But if he starts the game, we can get to find out the feel of him throughout the game. Do you know what I
absolutely,
mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that's cool. And then who they got on the bench? They got the Bradford on the bench, Heaton, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Casemiro, Fred, Malanga. That's who they dropped. Um, Malanga and Ronaldo. So
I mean,
okay,
it's
but the thing about
Casemiro
them.
on the bench as well, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've got players to come on, and we really don't. Do you know what I mean? There's that kind of levels anyway. Anyway, our team. Okay, so Ramsdale, yep, he's playing. As we said, White, as you said, Saliba, Gabriel. Oh, this is playing. Who they said there was injury. He didn't train.
Didn't
Well,
he?
actually, Shevchenko, yeah.
He's back,
So
yeah.
yeah, so happy that he's playing because yeah, these are the
Brilliant.
games that they're like because I'm like I mean all these like Arsenal fans are like oh Man United and all that and I'm like why like they're this a crap performing team right now they're gonna get
Hmm.
better but right now they're not and then Old Trafford what and
Yeah,
these are them and like I said like Shevchenko and Gabe Jesus they don't think like that they know that this Man United who and Old Trafford what we need to get results for Carlos so yeah I'm happy that
exactly.
he's playing. So obviously, then self-explanatory. You got Sammy in there, Xhaka. I know you would have put Shevchenko if he knew he was fit. So,
Mm.
but we didn't know that. We thought it was gonna. He wasn't. So anyway, Sammy is in there with Xhaka, like you said. Um, then there's Saka. Odegaard, he's playing as well. So yeah, as we said, Martinelli and Jesus. So it's the same team near enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, same team. Apart from
Strong
obviously,
team.
yeah, same team. Apart from Partey, because obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
So
this would give a chance for Lokonga, man. Give him his experience, man. Lokonga needs these type of games as well. So, let's see how he gets on.
yeah.
Jack is playing really well at the moment, so I'm sure
See our
he'll be
bench.
back. Yep, so on the bench.
All right, so we've got Turner, Tierney, Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Holding, Cedric, Tomiyasu, Vieira, and Marquinhos.
That's good, man. Hopefully, we might even get to see Vieira get a little run out, depending on how well we do today.
Yeah, but what it is with Arteta, I can see like I think because they haven't played yet, he's unsure about throwing him in too early. His subs have been really late unless he's had to make them. So I think it's good that we've got the Europa starting midweek because these players are going to start playing now and he's going to start to see like actually what they like a bit
Yeah,
more in match games. Where I think like we've been keeping games quite tight, so he's been
yeah,
too a bit like thing about throwing him in too early just in case. I mean, even in Ketcher, he's like always giving him like 10 minutes and stuff like that.
mm.
So, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, okay, so
Hey,
he's near enough our starting starting
okay,
11. Apart from Partey, it's our first choice team. Oh yeah, apart from and Tommy, but Tommy's I guess it's a choice between Tommy
yeah,
and White, but they're both there. So
yeah.
yeah,
Let's get the wing
squad.
gunners. This is
Yeah,
us.
yeah. I mean,
What's
let's get
this?